So I recently got introduced with your website and the content on YouTube. My question simply is, I'm a senior product manager right now, and I'm in the process. In the side, I'm a career coach. I started working with people to land their product management job, and I want to do that full time. Not full time, I would say. I want to build a brand. So a quick question, simple. What do you think about my profile when it comes to EB1A? What can I do, and how effectively I can achieve this goal if I want to work with you?
So, firstly, it's a pretty broad. Can you make it more specific?
I am clueless how my profile is
Okay.
aligned in
Okay.
such a way that I can get the EB1A. My understanding says simple that I am a senior product manager. Of course, in the back end, I'll be building my brand when it comes to on LinkedIn, Instagram, get some followers, and of course to run some of my courses, side business. These are the two important factors which I've given to you. So
Yeah,
ideas
yeah.
and
Probably I'll take a bunch of steps back and give a higher level understanding of how our program generally caters to people, regardless of what they're doing. And then they have their own ambitions, which they take forward, right? So, overall, let's assume overall USCIS wants to see that you have risen to the top of a field. So what we help do is there is usually people come into this program with around at least 2-3 years of work experience, at the least, maybe more as well. So we look at these past several years of your work experience and try to leverage as much as possible from that, not in terms of like you might not have written papers, you might not have published papers and stuff like that, but there is obviously a ton of like subject matter expertise work that you have done that is leverageable in you writing papers or you judging or any of the 10 criterias that you see there, right? One of the first things we do is extract pretty much everything. We have a very detailed like an onboarding process where we extract pretty much everything that you have worked on in the past, and then we use that to understand what niche are you strongest in. Now, you said product management. We don't go by niches in that way. Of course, you are a product manager, you can continue in product management, but the way we define niches is we look at what general business or technological skill sets you use and which industry is your impact felt the most in, and how is that impact felt. So we use a combination of these to determine a niche that you are to be positioned as a specialist in. So generally what happens is most people make the mistake of calling themselves like an AI specialist or software engineer, which is very, very broad, and it is very difficult to prove that you have risen to the top of that field when you define yourself, when you're competing against that broad set of people.
Yeah, makes
That is
sense.
why one of the first steps we do is like niche down, and we've done that very successfully, touch wood, so far, and our approvals kind of speak to that we are able
Yeah,
to get it down to like, let's say, a few thousand people.
yeah,
And then we map everything that you've worked on to one or the other criterias, and sometimes it is directly usable for criterias like critical role and stuff. A lot of times, around 80% of those items need a certain type of addition or massaging in a certain way to satisfy the other criterias. Like, for example, we know what topics have like general traction based on other people that we've helped, so we look at all the problems that you solved, the solutions that you've implemented, etc., at your workplace in the past several years. And then we kind of determine, okay, which is a good topic to write on, like a paper to write on. And then while you work on that, then we work on a publishing strategy, or where all it can possibly published, once it is ready. And then once the papers are ready, we work with you on publishing it in those places as well. So I'm just giving you the example of one criteria. Similarly, we have a very customized approach that works for every single criteria. An example of a criteria that we take the most control on, where you do almost like just 5% of the work, we do 95% of the work, is press the media features about you criteria. Generally, clients find it very, very hard to get it done by themselves, because it's very heavy PR type activity, which is beyond the social media type PR. It's traditional PR type activity.
yeah.
And even in that, it should be organic. It cannot be like paid PR or forced PR and things like that. So we work very closely with a lot of journalists, a lot of outlets to get you featured. So I just gave you maybe a 20% glimpse of how our program generally works. But it's not like we manufacture profiles out of thin air. We start with everything that you have, and
Yep.
then over the next, let's say 6, 8, 12 months or so. 12 months is our standard time that we say. Most of the, on average, everybody who has gotten approved so far has done it in around 8 months. So in the
8 months
next,
from starting to
yes,
working with you, building the
yes,
profile, get the visa.
and 8 months is average. There have been profiles that are quicker than that as well.
What was the quickest one?
Quickest one came in yesterday. It was 4 months.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
You're doing a good job.
And then the longest one I think was 11 months or so, but
Okay.
the average still stands at around like 8 months ish.
Yeah.